Thames Rowing Club. You can see on the right of your screen the Buckinghamshire station on the right, and then Henley Rowing Club on the left, on the Berkshire side. Henley qualified after a great row on Friday.
Yeah. Attention. Go.
And we're underway. The umpire has set the crews up towards the finish. Past Temple Island on the right-hand side. And this is one of the key parts of the race, John. We've seen plenty of drama, the overhanging trees causing problems for those who struggle almost to see where they're going because it's so dark and so obscure, and also at the same time you know that you're going to emerge from the safety and the lee of the Temple Island to the buffeting of the winds, even though normally we've had a headwind so far. And this is a good start, surely, by the crew nearest to, that's Thames Rowing Club, who were in the final last year, so we're expecting great things, I think, from them.
Yes, they're a good, strong crew. So are Henley on the Berkshire side of the course. Have started a little slowly. Being up the course earlier today, it's quite calm to begin with, and then the headwind kicks in once you get past the island. And generally the lower rating crews tend to do a bit better once the wind kicks in. But this Henley crew won at Marlow at a recent regatta last week or the week before, but had to go through the qualifications on Friday to get to this race, and it's not totally surprising that they're behind Thames at this stage.
This is a very difficult day's rowing. Everyone who's been out there on the water has admitted this, because the wind is strong. I mean, the gusts are 40 miles an hour at times, and it's made life particularly challenging, and it certainly feels a lot longer than the course distance, does it not?
Yes, and some of the races are taking quite a bit longer than is normally the case on the first day of Henley because of the headwind, and causing difficulty in the steering quite often. This is a coxed four, so they've got the benefit of somebody who's only steering, but the wind can push around a bit. So that's the Thames crew, three from last year's crew that were finalists in the Britannia, and they've had a good season in the Cox 4 this year, and sitting perhaps about a length ahead of the crew from Henley Rowing Club at this stage.
Coxed by Constance Pidou, who steered the winning Thames 8 in 2015. They were second at Marlow, so this is a crew who are expecting great things in this particular event, and they're starting in the right way at the moment, and they have already taken out a strong advantage.
Yes, they might even have a bit of clear water over Henley at this early stage of the race, and as I mentioned before, slightly lower in their rating, a bit longer in the water, and that's the sort of headwind rowing that you'd like to see. So a little bit more composed and looking relaxed, but it's not relaxed when you're rowing into a headwind. You need to sit back into the headwind and finish your strokes off, but keep the power going through the race. A higher rating crew can become unsettled, as we see Henley there a little bit rocking about in the headwind. If they were able to hold the blades in the water a little bit longer, it may give them a touch more stability.
If you just look at the two, I mean, yes, you can see it, absolutely. There's a lot more control, a lot more water management from the Thames crew. Henley seem to be toiling their way through, whereas you look at Thames, very much in control, just almost skating over the surface of the water. Very impressive, and of course, one key factor is they have the advantage of being able to look down, and there's absolutely clear water. They're on their way to victory, and they can just manage this to the end, really.
And that's very much the way to row at Henley, is to get a good look back on the rest of the field, or the other crew in fact, and make the most of it. It's hard for Henley to get back from there. especially in a strong headwind such as we've been facing all of today. It's overcast, it's cool, it's unpleasant, but you need to row the conditions as they are and make the most of an extra bit of power, which I think the Thames Rowing Club are actually lighter than the Henley Rowing Club crew, but despite that, they're rowing the headwind extremely well and have opened up a pretty good margin. A little bit of errant steering from Henley Rowing Club there. That's the pressure getting to them, I expect. The coxswain will be pulling them back onto course, but
they seem to be straying at one stage into the centre of the stream and then veering off to the left.
Yes, and with a cox steering, that is more likely to indicate some differences in power on either side of the boat. With a coxswain there, it should be relatively easy to stay in your station unless the crew isn't pulling as evenly as you'd like them to be.
But at the moment, this is the crew who are dominating and doing it in a very impressive way. Thames Rowing Club. They are the second-ranked crew from the club this year, so this is one of their priorities. And they're starting this Henley week, culminating in the finals on Sunday in the best possible way. Just a little gesture there from the cox. I wonder what that might entail.
Well, nobody can see him.
There was a wave, a hand went up.
Yes, I'm not sure what he's trying to indicate there, because you and I are the only people who can see him, really. And,
it's Constance, actually, Constance Piddow. So
see her, yes.
She's waving. Whether she's got friends to wave to, either way, but can see a clear way down towards the finish. Henley Rowing Club are some way behind. In fact, obviously her crew can see where they are. So this is just a smooth drive towards the finish.
Yes, a solid performance from the Thames crew, the crew from the Tideway, based at Putney, doing much better than the local crew who know the river well, know this course well, and there is something in knowing how to row at Henley Royal Regatta and to row on this stretch of the river, which gives British crews an advantage, but the crews that are training on this stretch of the river daily, you'd expect to have an advantage, but it's better rowing that's getting Thames Rowing Club the advantage that they've opened up over Henley at this stage. More control, more length in the water, better control of the rate and better sit back into the wind for this crew, and the cox has done a great job in keeping the crew very much in their station. That's Constance Piddow, who, as we mentioned, steered the winning Thames 8 last year at Henley, so she's quite experienced.
Going for a notable double if things carry on like this. There's a smile as well you can see as they go past those traditional familiar green deck chairs on the Berkshire bank, and here come, for the final few strokes, a very accomplished performance by Thames Rowing Club to get us underway for this evening session here, still under slate grey skies, but that's going to matter not a jot to those 5 crew members. They take the first heat, 5:30, race number 67. Here come the qualifiers. Friday's performance must seem a long time ago. Confirmation